Please be seated. A couple of quick things. One, there are empty seats that are available up front, and anyone who would like to sit in the sun for the next 2 hours is welcome to come forward. Our provost, Ann Davies, has asked me to report to our faculty and staff that depending on what they're wearing underneath their robes, they can remove them for the proceedings. Welcome. Friday's Wall Street Journal led with this. Salaries soar for class of 2017. Average pay for new college graduates is highest in at least a decade. It is a great day to be a Beloit College graduate. Parents, you may be able to rent out that bedroom after all. Welcome to this 167th commencement at Wisconsin's oldest and finest college, honoring Beloit College's graduating class of 2017. Over the course of today, approximately 122 million phone calls will be made in the United States from children to their mothers. While phone calls are a fine second best way to tell mom how much you love her, texts are unequivocally not acceptable. We have the advantage of being a relatively large group of people all here together in person, many of whom are mothers, a lot of whom are mothers to people here in robes, and all of whom would welcome a chance to offer a moment of authentic, live, human, non-electronic appreciation for mothers. If you are a mother, will you please stand? Happy Mother's Day. It takes an army of Beloiters to make this commencement a special, warm, welcoming, comfortable, and meaningful as it is and will be. This includes our peerless staff in housekeeping and grounds and security and maintenance and student affairs and communications and marketing and food service and alumni relations, and the list goes on. Would you please join me in thanking all of these inspiring colleagues and friends and recognize their collective awesomeness? An early 17th century song born out of a farewell letter titled "The Parting Glass" has lyrics which begin with these. Oh, all the money that ere I spent it in good company. And all the harm that ere I've done, alas, it was to none but me. And all I've done for want of wit, to memory now I can't recall. So fill to me the parting glass. Good night, and joy be with you all. 4 years ago, a student-directed a cappella group was formed on the campus. Its founders are two seniors, Maddie Ibsen and Lydia Zimmerman, both members of the class of 2017. Please welcome Beloit College's very own Bits and Pieces here to sing The Parting Glass.
I spent it
At the commencement of this commencement, I'm going to put the class of 2017 to work. Your singular task, class of 2017, is to think of who around you, students, faculty, staff, has been your most important mentor and why that is. As a warning, I am going to give you an oral exam in 5 minutes, so you really want to do this, your last Beloit College quiz. While you are thinking, in front of this exceptional class, I'm going to make a case, an evidence-based case for Beloit College exceptionalism. Of course, the culminating evidence of this case directly in front of me, the 260 of you whose brilliantly bright futures are so clear to me, so clear to your family, so clear to the faculty and staff sitting right behind you, so clear to your friends around you. But that crystal ball clarity I'm about to argue is connected to your last 4 years amidst the people that surround you right now, while your classmates and faculty and staff at this college were very fortunate to have been provided terrific raw material on which to introduce ourselves to you on move-in day. Parents, thank you very much. There is significant value added, exceptional value added from having spent nearly 4 years among these people at this school. People to your left and to your right, in front and in back of you, exceptional. Turtles all the way down. In the book, Colleges That Changed Lives, Kate Leveling, a graduate of the Beloit College class of 2009, is quoted as saying, "Beloiters don't settle for lives they have to live. They choose the lives they want to live." Suppose someone were to walk up to you tomorrow and ask you to pick between 2 pathways. One path, call it the Beloit way, is nearly 3 times as likely as the other path. Call it the ill-advised lane. To arrive at a future destination in which you have a career and a life filled with purpose and consequence, friends and family who support you, a community where you live in which you are a proud and active participant, a job that is meaningful and rewarding, resources available for you to do the important things in life that matter. Your choice, the Beloit way or the ill-advised lane. Which path would you choose? Well, let's detour for a moment. Here is a poorly understood fact. Not all mentorship is equal. Saying you have a mentor may mean a lot, or it may mean a little. There is, it turns out, very effective mentorship, somewhat effective mentorship, and really pretty scuzzy mentorship. And it turns out that a small number of essential elements determine whether mentorship is catalytic or not. Most essential, mentorship only really works when your mentor cares about you. There must be an authentic, meaningful relationship between mentor and mentee. Think Dr. Nicole Truesdell. Mentorship without a relationship is not much more than advice, and people confuse mentorship with advising all the time. Second, on the hit parade, the best mentors avoid overriding the dreams of their mentees. That comes directly from Anthony Chan, one of the experts in this area. Empathy, humility, listening, and insight matter. Mentors need to understand and respect the hearts of their mentees. And lastly, mentors must be challenging, trustworthy cheerleaders. Of course, they must push and cajole, question and test, but at the end of the day, encouragement and enthusiastic support are essential. That and boatloads of mutual trust and respect. Being an effective mentor, a little like being U.S. president, is harder than you think. The multiple paths that may or may not lead to a purposeful life and the various ways a mentor can matter or not are not non sequiturs. It turns out that the choice between the Beloit way and the ill-advised lane and the qualities that make up mentorship come together in a seriously important, big, honking way. There is no better way to predict the breadcrumbs from a college experience to a life you want to live, a life of purposeful consequence, than through the effectiveness of the mentoring a student receives. Smart, caring, selfless, empathetic, trustworthy, challenging mentorship. Effective mentorship is the secret sauce. From your college experiences to the life you want to live, nothing else comes close. If you are the lucky student who has experienced effective mentorship, you are more than twice as likely to enjoy a life of purposeful consequence. Yes, the impact can be quantified, and it is really, really significant, twice as likely. Now, back to this exceptional school. Turns out that a graduating senior from Beloit College is 3 times more likely than a graduating senior from another college to get this type of relationship-based, authentic, rich, meaningful mentorship. This Georgia, Durst, Lottie, Kathy Green, Lisa Anderson Levy, George Lazinski, Sean Gillen, Deborah Majid, Lindsay Chapman mentorship. They are the Beloit way. Kathy Green, you are the Beloit way. How do I know? Because we asked you. You, the 260 of you sitting in front of me, or at least those of you who responded to our survey. So it is doubtful that our sample includes many teaks. They're not listening anyway, so they don't even know that I poked a little fun at them. I didn't mean it. I didn't mean it. I'm not even looking at social media for the next 3 weeks. Yet, among those who did respond, 95% of you said that you had a faculty or staff mentor who authentically and demonstrably cared about you. 98% said you had a faculty or staff member who challenged you. 100% of you said you had a faculty or staff member who excited you about learning. And 84% of you said you had a mentor. These are responses vastly higher than what students at other colleges have reported. 3 times higher, 3 times more likely than if you attended a typical Ivy League school, 3 times more likely than if you attended a typical small liberal arts college with some 3 to 30 times this college's endowment, 3 times more likely than if you attended a flagship state university, 3 times more likely. There may be another school with a higher effective mentor success rate, but I do not know it. Exceptional. Just 3 days ago, I received a note from Caitlin Patterson. Yes, exactly. I received a note from Caitlin Patterson, a graduate from Beloit in the class of 15, who was sharing with me a few reflections of her time at Beloit. Let me read. My best friends in the world are Beloiters. Christina Clowder, Kaylee Kavanaugh, Camilla Jackson. Where do I stop? People who keep me going and who make me smile when I think of them. The people I go to for life advice are Beloiters. I trust their moral compass as a product of the Beloit ethos. And Beloit itself, even as the feelings I have shift drastically each time I come back to campus, will always and forever be the most fundamental influence in my life. It is extremely hard to put into words why these people, why these mentors have made the difference they have, but I think that that is exactly the spirit of what Beloit is. It's a wordless magnetism that you just get as a Beloiter, and it's the relationships with people that strengthens that spirit. It's not about prestige, status, accomplishments. It's the community that we built together as Beloiters that will always be the foundation of who I am as a person in this world. Exceptional. We come today in recognition of the commencement of these wonderful futures of these 260 talented people in front of me, lives that these 260 gloriously worthy Beloiters want to live, made so much more likely because of the most effective mentors that sit to your left and your right, to your front and your back, combined with your eagerness to embrace that mentorship, turtles all the way down. Now, for the oral exam. Class of 2017, will you please stand and face faculty, staff, and your families? In your very best outdoor voice, I mean this, call out the names of your most effective mentors and call them out so they can hear you. This is not a time to be shy. Your voice needs to be heard over all the others. Ready? 1, 2, 3, go. Do it again. Thank you very much. Thank you for being here today to celebrate this moment in these exceptional, soon-to-be Beloit College graduates, the hottest graduates in America, entering the hottest job market in more than a decade. Let's just watch the sparks fly. It is a great day to celebrate the Beloit College class of 2017. I am pleased to introduce Professor of Psychology and Chair of the Psychology Department, Larry White. Professor White first met our commencement speaker, President Roberta Bobbi Cordano, when she was a student at this very college, and he was a relatively new assistant professor. Much like all the great relationships at this college, both taught each other a great deal in their 4 years together at Beloit. Please join me in welcoming Professor Larry White, who will introduce our commencement speaker.
Bobbi Cordano and I arrived at Beloit College at about the same time. She is a student and I as a brand new assistant professor. I taught Bobbi some psychology, and she taught me about being deaf, about little d, deaf, which is the physiological condition of not hearing, but also about big D, deaf, in which deafness is a linguistic community with its own cultural history, values, and norms. Working with Bobbi and other deaf students over the years led me to learn as much as I could about deaf culture. I especially enjoyed a book by Leah Hager Cohen called Train Goes Sorry. In American Sign Language, train goes sorry means missing the boat. It's a phrase that often comes to my mind when my students are struggling with a difficult concept, but I don't ever think of it when I think of Bobbi Cordano, because Bobbi has never missed the boat. Bobbi jumps on the boat, helps steer it, or she builds a boat so that she and others can get someplace that they couldn't get to before. Bobbi graduated from Beloit in 1986 and earned a law degree at the University of Wisconsin. She was an assistant attorney general for the state of Minnesota. She was the director of disability services at the University of Minnesota, and she was an assistant dean at the university's Humphrey School of Public Affairs. In 2003, the Humphrey School recognized Bobbi's outstanding public service by giving her its very first Public Leadership Award. Other recipients of that award include Walter Mondale and Madeleine Albright. Bobbi is a founding member of two deaf schools in St. Paul, Metro Deaf School and Minnesota North Star Academy. Both of these are bilingual, bicultural schools for deaf and hard of hearing students. In 2005, she received the Access Award from the Minnesota State Council on Disability. In 2015, Bobbi was chosen to lead Gallaudet University as its 11th president and its first deaf woman president. Gallaudet is the premier liberal arts college for deaf and hard of hearing students. It's also the alma mater of Bobbi's parents, and it is the epicenter of deaf culture in the United States. For deaf college students and educators, Gallaudet is where the action is. When Bobbi graduated from Beloit, Roger Hull was the college's president, and Roger always ended his commencement remarks by telling graduating students to do well and to do good. Roger would be pleased, I think, to know that for the last 31 years, Bobbi Cordano has been doing incredibly well and has done a whole lot of good. Please join me in welcoming Roberta Bobbi Cordano.
Hello, everyone. It is wonderful to be back at Beloit. I have many fond memories of this place, and I just want to thank President Scott Bierman and his wife, Melody, for the wonderful invitation, and also for being here over the last couple of days with you. Thank you so much for that. I want to recognize the Board of Trustees for their warm welcome and greetings. Also acknowledging the wonderful faculty who are here with us today, the faculty and staff and students here of Beloit. To all of you, I want to say it's important that we recognize this class of 2017 for the deep honor that you have given me for asking me to come here today. 30-some years after I was seated right in your place, there is no greater honor than to be called back to your alma mater in this way. It is indeed a special moment for many reasons, and of some of which I will be touching on in a bit. I want to take a moment to recognize the fact that it is Mother's Day. Your president has also made sure we acknowledge our mothers here, but I wanted to acknowledge my own mother, who is not here with us today. Without her and my father, I would not be where I am. So the impact that I was given through her love and her mentorship, actually by both of my parents, and also I'm recognizing by your parents today, we cannot underestimate what you've given to your children, and we are so grateful for you being here and showing up in support of your children on this wonderful Mother's Day. As I acknowledge the absence of my parents, I also acknowledge my wonderful sister, who is also a great mother, and she's here with us today, my sister Mary, my sister Patty. My spouse, Mary Barrymore, is also here with us today. Boy, we're coming up close to 30 years of being together. It's wonderful to have such a long-standing relationship, and the result of that are two wonderful boys, Jonathan and Elliot, both are with us today. And I want to thank you both for coming all the way from your college to go back this evening. Thank you so much for being here with us today, Elliot. You know, Steve Jobs once said, "You cannot connect the dots looking forward. You can only connect the dots when you look backwards into the past." Back in 1981, I was living abroad in South Africa as an exchange student in an exchange program. And I probably should mention, my parents were deaf. I don't think I mentioned that earlier. So in 1981, we had no way to communicate overseas except through writing letters back and forth, which would, of course, take 3 weeks to travel across the ocean. Back and forth we'd go. And so one day I got a letter from my mother who said it was time for me to begin thinking about choosing a college. And I thought to myself, seriously? I'm so far from home, and I'm expected to pick a college? But my mother wrote in her letter that it was important for me, and she asked me to really consider my career path. She knew that I was interested in law. I'd had that dream for myself, that I really had notions of becoming an attorney. I wanted to do that more than anything else in the world, and she asked me if I was still interested in pursuing that dream, which I was. And given that, we recognized that Gallaudet University, and back at that time, if you wanted to go to law school, she explained to me that Gallaudet was not an option for me. We had never seen a single graduate from Gallaudet be accepted by a law school at that point in time. Again, this was back in 1981. The attitudes of the law school admissions were pejorative to Gallaudet students. And so my mom assured me that there were many other wonderful liberal arts colleges to choose from, and would send me a list from all of the different colleges and universities to look through. And one of the books that I got was that of Beloit College. And I decided that was definitely one of the choices to explore when I came back to Minnesota. And I fell in love with Beloit. And there are three things that were important to me at that time that are still important today that make Beloit such a great place. First is the liberal arts education it offers. Gallaudet is a liberal arts college, as is Beloit. The value that my family instilled in me through learning through a liberal education is critical. The second important thing is I was paying attention to the number of people who graduated and where they went to college. How many of them went on to grad school? And Beloit by far had the highest percentage of graduates going on to grad school. 68% of the students who graduated from Beloit went to graduate school. And so with that, my mom assured me that this was the place for me. We looked at many times employers would look at job applicants, and if they saw that someone was from Beloit, you would get a spot either at job or at a graduate school position. Interestingly enough, though, one of the other reasons why I chose Beloit was simply by the fact that, well, actually, it was something that didn't occur to me until just a couple of weeks ago when it was read at Gallaudet that I was coming to give a commencement speech, and the archivist at Gallaudet said, "Bobbi, did you know that the founder of Beloit, Aaron Lucius Chapin, he actually was a teacher for deaf students at the Fanwood School for the Deaf in New York?" You know, I just couldn't figure how on earth he had found this information, but sure enough, I went back and I found the description of President Chapin. And there in his biography was a sentence mentioning that he taught at the New York School for the Deaf. And it was at that moment that I remembered back that that was another one of my draws to Beloit. I remember seeing the connection there between him, the deaf experience, and Beloit. So let me connect some dots for you today. Mr. Chapin, President Chapin, was born in 1817 in Hartford, Connecticut. That was 200 years ago. You know what else happened in that very year in Hartford, Connecticut, 200 years ago? Thomas Gallaudet, who was, by the way, the founder of deaf education in the United States and believed in visual learning and visual language, this man really created the way of teaching deaf students through visual language and in visual learning. Thomas Gallaudet was the founder of the first school for the deaf, the American School for the Deaf in Hartford, Connecticut in 1817, the very year that Chapin was born, and in a very small town, I might add. And it gets better. So Chapin grew up in that town. Again, we're talking 200 years ago. And it was clear that Chapin and the Gallaudet family must have been friends, and Chapin was influenced by his interactions with Gallaudet. When he was 25, he went on to teach at the School for the Deaf in New York in Fanwood. That was the second school for the deaf that opened here in the United States. And here's the amazing fact of all of this. You've invited me here today as your commencement speaker. During a time here in America, we are celebrating 200 years of deaf education through visual language right here in the United States. And I am president of the premier institution that represents those 200 years and that 200-year history. It's pretty incredible if you think about it. But what's also important is that Chapin and Gallaudet both shared similar values that they held dearly. They held two very important values close to their heart. One of those values is the value of learning. Learning by opening our mind, opening our hearts and our spirits. And the second and most important is the belief in the rights to access to learning in a higher education environment. Thomas Gallaudet and his son went on to establish Gallaudet University, which is the first and only time in the history of the world, and continues to be the only time in the history of the world, that a government has declared the rights of people who are deaf to get a college degree through learning in American Sign Language and English, through a bilingual environment. And Chapin knew that in the West, there was no Yale of the West. Nowhere for families to get that kind of an education, so he marched out to Wisconsin and established the Yale of the West. These two histories have converged here today. I'm going to digress here for just a moment, because if we were to fast forward now to 1988, I was in the middle of law school back then, and at Gallaudet, there was a protest held of the students where they shut down the university, and they called the board to a vote to elect the first deaf president of Gallaudet University. How many of you heard about that protest, deaf president now? Can I see a show of hands? So many of you know about this. That was the first protest that happened, and I was in the middle of law school when they were seeking to protest the rights of a deaf president. The leader of that protest in 1990 was actually admitted into law school and was the first to graduate from Gallaudet, who was then admitted into law school. And it wasn't until 1990 that this happened. When I graduated from law school in 1990, I was among probably the 17th deaf American to become an attorney. And let me just say that again, the 17th deaf person in the United States to get a law degree in 1990. And it was after DPN that the law schools finally woke up to recognize the extraordinary character that deaf people have. It was over 350 now deaf attorneys in the United States, and many of them have come through the halls of Gallaudet. Again, this ties to a lesson that I want to share with all of you, the class of 2017. What changes the world is activism and acting together as a community. You know, the person who I mentioned graduated from Gallaudet and got the law degree serves on our board now. And it was by student activism that it led Gallaudet to create the change that we needed to see in that institution, that changed my world and will change your world forever. Be active citizens. It's the only way we can make world change. But there's two things about active citizenship that I want to share with you, just for you to reflect on. The first one being, learning is a community action. And I want to say that again. Learning is a community activity. So very often we think of learning that's something that happens as an individual, opens a book or reads something preparing for a test that demonstrates they've learned something and their excellence in that subject. But learning comes together as a community when we engage what we know with those others who are around us. Our culture in America so often is narrowly focused on coming to agreement or looking where there are disagreements between us. And you hear that language so often these days, the rhetoric about we might agree and yet we disagree for various reasons. But what's missing in that kind of rhetoric is an understanding that it's not about agreeing or disagreeing that matters. What matters is your commitment to listening to other points of views. Now, I'm not sure if you've really studied anything about confirmation bias here at Beloit. How many of you have studied confirmation bias, by the way? Anyone out there? So for those of you who may not be as familiar, confirmation bias is our neurological tendency, our natural tendency to confirm what we believe to be true, that our brain believes that we know. Your brain has a steady set of beliefs that truly continues to try and confirm those beliefs through the way it sees the world and the information that it takes in. And it's our challenge as individuals and as people to use our commitment to learning as a community, gathering all points of view, to integrate a deeper understanding of what actually is happening and what exactly it is that we see in front of us. Learn not to trust your own point of view. Learn to trust the totality of the points of views that are brought to a certain situation, and that is the key to success. Secondly, I certainly agreed the baccalaureate ceremonies yesterday. I see that you've been struggling with some of the same issues that we are struggling with at Gallaudet University, the challenge of equity and inclusion to create a diverse and strong community. But I want to remind you in this. You here at Beloit have gone through a number of experiences that have been very difficult and very challenging. But remember, it's not the incidences that you want to remember, but rather it's the work that we do related to those experiences. Those are the things that will continue throughout our lifetimes as we come together, committed to working together to achieve equity, inclusion, and strengthening our community through diversity. I do have to tell you that my work being called to Gallaudet University as president is to share deeply with the world to better understand the value of sign language, to help them understand that sign language must be seen as equal to any other spoken language. We in our community have not had that privilege, and that must be changed. And I ask all of you here to join us in the recognition and the rights of the need for sign languages throughout the world to be seen as authentic, valid languages, deserving of respect as any other language would. For the work of equity and inclusion to create a strong and diverse community, the phrase, the art of compromise, often has gotten a bad rap. You know, we hear stories and read books about the art of negotiation and winning in those kinds of situations. But I want to caution you to be very, very careful. Be careful because it's really not about either of those two things. The real heart about being a person in this world today is seeing and understanding different points of view, and through that, discovering a third way that serves the needs and the interests of everyone involved. It's seeking to lessen those winning situations and seeking rather to find that third route, that third path where everyone wins and everyone equally benefits. It is possible, if you are able to hold on to that commitment. You must hold that commitment to hearing diverse views from others and understanding your own to create the solutions that will be our future together. The people who have preceded you have created so many complex problems that you now face. All of us are looking to you. We're looking to you to find the solutions that will save our planet, save our people, save the cultures and languages that are currently endangered today. It's you that hold that torch to make the difference. So, I'd like to talk to each of you individually. I expect that Beloit has given you the experience to follow your passion and lead with joy. I know I had that experience when I was a student here. I came in wanting to be an attorney, and I thought the only way to becoming an attorney was to major in government and economics. And so I decided when I came in to declare those as my majors, and then I took my first sociology class. Let me tell you, I fell in love with sociology. I called my mother and I said, what am I going to do? I want to be an attorney, but, I can't major in sociology. And my mother assured me that I would find, faculty members who would be able to help me out as advisors. And I found people like Larry and others, and Bill, who's not here with us today, who sat down with me and said, Bobbi, it is not a problem at all. Follow your heart, follow what you love, and you'll make it to law school. Follow that passion. And I've held on to that advice for all these years. There is not a single job or career or volunteer activity that I haven't absolutely loved. Now, don't mind you, I have struggled along the way, but I've loved everything that I've done. Don't ignore your passion. It's what brings you the greatest joy. It's those moments of joy and passion where you will find your calling and your purpose in life, and you will create the change that the world absolutely needs, no matter how small or how big. Remember, a lot of change happens in those small moments. You know how small one moment can be that can change the world, as it did for deaf people. The founding of Gallaudet University is one example of that. It was a negotiation to establish what became a principal of a school in Washington, D.C. He knew that he wanted to be more than just a principal of a school. He wanted to have a college for deaf people where deaf people could come and succeed. And so he negotiated. He talked to the Postmaster General, Amos Kendall at that time, and he explained that he wanted this school to be able to confer degrees to deaf people, to be able to receive a degree in higher education. And to be honest, he didn't want to be principal of a school. He wanted to be a president, and that was his ambition, but he knew where his passions lie. And the Postmaster General, what he did, he went to see President Lincoln, and on behalf of the university, asked President Lincoln to sign the charter. And President Lincoln signed off on that charter for Gallaudet University to come into existence, probably, honestly, without fully even understanding what it was he was doing and what he was creating. That single act has never been repeated in the history of the United States or in America in 153 years. Supporting the rights of deaf people to get a college degree through American Sign Language. That change happened as a result of one man who knew his purpose. His purpose was bigger than just being a principal. It happens in all of those small moments, so don't overlook those moments, all right? And next, you've already begun this work, and I could see evidence of that yesterday. I was so very impressed with the language, the poetry, the music that I witnessed yesterday from the staff and the students, and especially the students. Your work was remarkable. Continue the work you're doing in developing your self-awareness. Know who you are. Take time to truly understand when you're responding to a situation, what are the feelings that are surfacing for you? Commit to yourself to change yourself and improve yourself so that you can change the world, because it does begin with you. It doesn't begin with anyone else but you. And that's the heart of it. Always remember that lesson. And finally, in closing, look for the unexpected invitations. I can share with you that my life story has been nothing but a number of unexpected invitations. And just to give you one small example of that, I ended up in the hospital unexpectedly when I was 27 years old, undergoing major surgery. Who would have known that the doctor who released me from the hospital was the father of a deaf child, who was a signer? He knew sign language, and as part of the movement among parents and teachers in St. Paul was to found the first bilingual school. And he was so eager and excited to discharge me from the hospital. He said, I know I'm not supposed to do this. I'm not your doctor for today, but I have to tell you, we need an attorney, and we need to have a deaf school person. We need someone on our board who can represent those views and those perspectives. Who would have known I would have gone on to found 2 charter schools if I hadn't ended up in the hospital? Again, it's about that unexpected invitation. I hope that each of you receive those unexpected invitations But when those moments come, and honestly, there's a lot of fear about that. There's fear in backing up and thinking you can't. Let me teach you a sign right now. My mother always taught me this. This is a sign for can't. See how I'm producing it? Well, make that sign go backwards. And that's what I mean. It's the beauty of ASL. Move that sign backwards, reverse the movement, and that shows that you can do whatever it is you thought you couldn't. So it's not about the can'ts, but it's about what you can achieve and what you can do. Hold that near and dear to you in those moments when you face that time when you think you can't do it. Make that change and realize you can do it. It's that unexpected invitation that will bring you joy, and it will force you through some of the hardest moments of your life, but you will grow and you'll become the change makers in this world. If you haven't seen me at Gallaudet and haven't seen me speak there, I can tell you that the students at Gallaudet will always say this: you are the future leaders, the future change makers, and the future innovators of the world. And I do have to tell you, that's what Beloit made me. And so I'm calling on each of you to become that very thing, the future innovators, change makers, and leaders of the world. Good luck to all of you, and congratulations to the class of 2017.
The Administrative Policy Manual of Beloit College provides that honorary degrees may be granted to those whose achievements are extraordinary and who represent by their lives and works the ideals for which Beloit College stands. I now present our candidate recommended for an honorary degree at today's ceremony. And you're already up here, Bobbi. Throughout her career, in positions in law, health, education, and public service, Bobbi Cardano, Beloit College class of 1986, has demonstrated transformational leadership as a powerful and tireless advocate for access, equity, inclusion, diversity, and social justice. Both of her parents are alumni of Gallaudet University, where Cardano is now the 11th president, but she chose to attend Beloit College to earn her BA in sociology. Her exceptional talent, perseverance, optimism brought to the college at least as much as Beloit gave her. After earning her JD at the University of Wisconsin Law School in 1990, Cardano immediately devoted herself to improving the lives of those around her, working to prevent and cease consumer and charities fraud, and as an expert on the Americans with Disabilities Act and other disability-related laws as Assistant Attorney General for the state of Minnesota. Her leadership across industries is profound. As the Vice President of Programs for the Amherst H. Wilder Foundation, a nonprofit community organization in St. Paul, Minnesota, Cardano directed programs across areas including early childhood, community mental health, family supportive housing, aging and caregiver services, school reform, and food access. She guided the organization through a challenging revenue environment while providing community leadership, fostering innovation, and championing equity and diversity within the workforce. Her tenure in the healthcare industry is marked by successful organizational change, innovation, community-based health initiatives, patient education, and research. She helped found bilingual, bicultural charter schools for deaf and hard of hearing children, and now, as Gallaudet University's president and its first female deaf president, Cardano is an inspiration. We honor her for her continued vigilance in cultivating exceptional opportunities for deaf and hard of hearing people, for her passionate support of diversity, access, and inclusion, and social justice, and for her remarkable contributions across industries. We are proud to claim Bobbi Cardano as one of our own, and as we bestow upon her an honorary Doctor of Laws degree. As president of Beloit College, it is an honor and a privilege, Bobbi, to confer upon you hang on for just a second. We got it. Sorry about that. It's an honor to confer upon you with this Beloit College diploma, the degree of Doctor of Laws honoris causa, by authorizing the Chief Marshal to invest you with the appropriate hood. Congratulations, Bobbi Cardano. A colleague recently described Bill Flanagan as the best imaginable stand-in for faraway parents, a rare combination of the older brother, father, and grandfather you could turn to in times of need. Since 1980, as our longtime Dean of Students and Vice President of Student Services, Bill has been a wise confidant to generations of Beloiters. He has been a buffer and a voice of reason. He is the person that no student wants to be required to meet with at 7 a.m. on a Monday morning. Yet, he is also the person alumni will most commonly reference when 20 years after graduating from this college and enjoying a most successful life, they reflect on how they got there. They will say, without hesitation, but for Bill Flanagan, I would not be where I am. Bill, will you join me here at the podium? We are a college that changes lives in no small measure because of Bill Flanagan. He has been a change-making machine. How so? Well, here is the key ingredient. He has put students and student well-being at the center of everything he has done, and he has never wavered from this principle. He has said that witnessing the journey students make at Beloit is, and I quote him, one of the most fulfilling things that anyone could possibly do. Over the last 6 years, as he took on a new role as executive advisor to the president, I was able to see firsthand his genuine affection for Beloit alumni, both individually and collectively, and their warmth and gratitude for having known him. One of his crowning achievements at Beloit was leading the college to a deeper understanding of the student experience that is best understood as a 4-year developmental arc, not a series of one-off experiences. The initiatives program, the sophomore year program, the greater blurring of boundaries between curriculum and co-curriculum all benefited from or were led by Bill. With this underlying philosophy in mind, the liberal arts in practice pedagogy has this developmental model at its core. In a letter to alumni this past spring when he announced his retirement, Bill wrote a couple of sentences that I think strike to the heart of his legacy. Truth be told, he wrote, it is the friendships with so many students over the years that matter the most to me. There aren't many people who have had the opportunity and privilege to meet students on their very first day of college and to be a part of the magic that occurs at Beloit that leads to alumni who live lives of purposeful consequence. We are fortunate that Bill Flanagan has shared his wisdom, his patience, and his grace with us over these past 37 years. I have the distinct honor and high privilege to present Bill Flanagan for emeritus status. quite confident that about 20% of Beloit College graduates would not be graduates were it not for Bill. In honor of his 37 years of service and a symbol of our deep appreciation and abiding respect, we welcome William J. Flanagan into the honored ranks of Beloit College Staff Emeriti. I now call upon Katie Johnson, Associate Professor of Biology, to present the second candidate recommended for emeritus status at today's ceremony. Katie.
Kathy Green inspires those around her to embrace the unknown and bask in the joyful glory of adventure. Her approach to practicing and applying science education develops and amplifies the energy and talents of her students, and in turn, their students, creating a ripple effect far beyond campus. Kathy's educational philosophy, her commitment to community and the development of supportive structures, is embodied in Girls and Women in Science. This annual event is organized and implemented by Beloit College students and invites local 6th grade girls and their parents and teachers to campus for an overnight science adventure. As the original architect, Kathy established this program with a vision. It would be a space for Beloit College students to learn that education is not just about teaching content. It would be an opportunity for local teachers to gain critical skills and ideas for their classrooms. And most importantly, it would grant permission for girls to embrace their love of science. Girls and Women in Science exemplifies Kathy's ability to share what one alumnus described as the beauty and impact of science education. Kathy is an unabashed advocate of thoughtful and engaged advising, which is central to her teaching. She relishes the aha moments when students connect information from the classroom to the real world. Her emphasis on introspection and reflection as a guide to action is why one advisee described Kathy as the essence of what Beloit does extraordinarily well: top-notch undergraduate education made possible through personal care from its professors in the form of advising. Kathy's dedication to effective and innovative education has shaped the trajectory of many educators, including her former students and current faculty. Mr. President, I have the distinct honor and high privilege to present Kathy Green for emeritus status.
In honor of her 30 years of service and a symbol of our deep appreciation and abiding respect, we welcome Kathleen Green into the honored ranks of Beloit College Faculty Emeriti. Congratulations, Kathy. I now call upon Daniel Yude, Professor of Modern Languages and Literatures, to present the third candidate recommended for emeritus status at today's ceremony. Daniel.
Shin-Young Robson, Adjunct Professor of Chinese Language and Linguistics, first came to Beloit in the summer of 1987 to teach in the college's nationally recognized Center for Language Studies before joining the faculty in 1992. Over the decades, in the summers and then during the regular academic year, Professor Robson oversaw the professionalization of Beloit's Chinese language program, expanding course offerings and growing student interest in Chinese language and culture. At Beloit, Shin has taught Chinese at all levels and to the most exacting standards. She has also regularly shared with her students her love of the written beauty of the Chinese language through her highly popular course on Chinese calligraphy. Her students always found her classes both stimulating and challenging, and for those who appreciated the demands of learning a difficult language such as Chinese, the payoff in terms of proficiency was substantial. Notably, Shin has mentored an impressive number of students who have gone on to use their Chinese language skills in their professional lives. A scholar and translator, as well as an educator, Professor Robson has produced a number of fine literary translations. Moreover, in 2013, she published Speed Up Your Chinese, Strategies to Avoid Common Errors. Shin's many years of practical experience in the language teaching classroom served as the raw material for this book. Mr. President, I have the distinct honor and high privilege to present Shin Young Robson for Emerita status.
In honor of her 30 years of service and a symbol of our deep appreciation and abiding respect, we welcome Shin Young Robson into the honored ranks of Beloit College Faculty Emeriti. Congratulations, Shin. The Warren Miller Blue Skies Award, named for a Beloit alumnus who is famous for the many New Yorker magazine cartoons he's published, pays tribute to a member of the senior class who's helped to foster good cheer, a good-humored perspective, and saving grace in the conduct of our daily lives together on campus. Staff in the Student Affairs Office receive nominations for this award, then vote on the nominees. Since 1982, Beloit has recognized one outstanding graduate to receive this award at commencement. Would April Applebaum from Lakeville, Illinois. Please come forward. April has been an all-around student leader whose enthusiasm for playing softball and cheering on her teammates equals her passion for her academic studies in the biology department. One nomination describes April as, quote, one of the most dynamic, outgoing individuals I have ever met. She's brought endless energy, a positive attitude, and a goofy grace. April does everything. She's played second base for the Buccaneer softball team, worked with prospective student players when they visit campus. She is the bright, memorable personality that most recruits and their parents recall after they've taken a campus tour. April has served as an orientation leader. She's been deeply involved in the programming board, serving in leadership roles around many major campus events. One person said that April's, quote, humor and wit make her so enjoyable to be around. I'm not sure I have ever seen her in a bad mood. Today, she graduates, summa cum laude, with a major in molecular, cellular, and integrative biology and a minor in chemistry. In addition to these impressive academic achievements, she has helped make Beloit a better place to live and learn and play. It is my pleasure to present April with this framed drawing. Congratulations, April. Members of the Beloit College class of 1981 established the Martha Peterson Prize as a tribute to Beloit's 7th president. The prize is awarded to a senior who best exemplifies the college's liberal arts traditions as a student and an active contributor to the campus community. Each year, faculty members nominate students for this prize, and names are presented to the senior class members who vote on the final recipient. This year, the Martha Peterson Prize goes to a student who is known both for his academic prowess, especially in biology, his major, and for his genuine care and concern for his fellow students. Would Jian Alex Chong from Klang Alex, your biology professors describe you as driven and curious, a remarkable student who distinguished himself in class from the very first day. He is described as combining a positive attitude and a good nature with a problem-solving mind. In nominations, professors wrote that Alex thinks through scientific questions and arrives at well-thought-out conclusions that are deeply rooted in an impressive understanding of biology. Another nomination said, and I quote, "In my encounters with him, Alex has been as respectful as he has been successful and as humble as he is exceptional. I am proud to know him." In addition to his achievements in biology, Alex is devoted to working on improving inclusivity in science and mathematics at Beloit. His professors say he has, quote, "a kind yet piercing way of asking questions and making suggestions about how we could be more inclusive of international, underrepresented, minority, first generation, and low-income students." After graduating summa cum laude today with department honors in biology, Alex is set to do graduate work at the University of Wisconsin-Madison in microbiology. Please join me in congratulating Alex on his achievements at Beloit and on receiving the 2017 Martha Peterson Prize. The senior class has chosen Emmy Newman to address her classmates at commencement today. Emmy, would you please come forward? While Emmy makes her way to the stage, I'd like to introduce you to this quiet dynamo, this creative, soft-spoken, talented writer and dancer. Someone once said that Emmy knows everyone and every place on this campus. And this is probably true, since she has sought out and embraced so many opportunities during her time here. Across departments and academic disciplines in dance, theater, English, the Beloit Fiction Journal, the admissions office, the Office of Communications and Marketing, and through study abroad in Italy, she has learned and grown here and contributed to this community with a serene confidence. In the theater's costume shop, she's helped design and stitch together beautiful and intricate costumes, including those for the college's recent stellar production of Macbeth. She's led prospective students on campus tours for the admissions office and told our stories as a writing intern for the college's communications and marketing office. In her senior year, she served as managing editor of the Beloit Fiction Journal. She has also danced spectacularly so, under the direction of her mentors, Chris Johnson and Gina Tai, of the dance department, performing in Chelonia and in other major performances, both on and off campus. Emmy is the personification of what we mean when we talk about students practicing the liberal arts. She graduates today, summa cum laude, with a double major in literary studies and creative writing with departmental honors. Graduate school in creative writing is next for her. We look forward with great anticipation to the day that we can crack open her debut novel. Please join me in welcoming Emmy Newman from Seattle, Washington.
Good morning, everyone. Beloit has taught me about the importance of looking for new ideas, big ones like the Beloit Project and small ones like putting new carpet in Pearson's. We have a focus on the current and the currently becoming at Beloit. So maybe that's why it felt so hard to come up with ideas for a commencement speech, a tradition that all too often feels picked over and spat out. I thought about brutally ripping off the commencement speech David Foster Wallace gave at Kenyon College titled "This is Water," one of my favorite speeches ever, but my collegiate learning has taught me to be generally against plagiarism, so I'm not doing that. One of my friends suggested I do an interpretive dance, and while I do consider myself something of a dancer, today is not the time for my big solo. Another friend suggested I scrap it all and just eat fruit on stage and call it performance art. But we all know no one wants to watch me eat 25 grapes over the course of 2 hours, or see how long I can make a single pistachio nut last. The truth is, I started writing this speech one night when I couldn't sleep, restlessly watching time creep closer to my alarm. So I turned my light back on, opened my computer, and started writing this to try and get out some of what's been keeping me up nights this year. And I know I'm not the only one who's been lying awake. I think some of what's been keeping me restless is this mix of a fear of forgetting these past 4 years and trying to comprehend the impossibly clean slate of the future. At a rehearsal a few weeks ago, Chris Johnson, a brilliant choreographer, mentor, and friend, asked a group of graduating seniors in the dance department to write down our 4 favorite memories from college. And I couldn't help but snort and roll my eyes. How could I name 4 moments when I could hardly remember what was due next week? My brain felt so overfull. And then I started getting scared that I would forget all these memories. But I realized when you dig way back into your brain, you'll still find your memories there. Sometimes it takes something unexpected to call them up, like walking into the A40 basement and remembering how your freshman year someone told you that there was a bottle of whiskey hidden in one of the ceiling tiles, and you and your friends spent a whole afternoon pushing the tiles up to see if you could find it. Maybe it's an old paper you have tucked away that you remember staying up all night with a friend writing, or a picture lost until you're packing your last box. Or walking down College Street and remembering watching people paddle a rowboat with their hands down the street after the gutters jammed in the Great Flood of 2014. How you ran through the rain that summer night, not caring about tomorrow or how to dry your clothes, or maybe you just wish you had. I guess in the grand scheme of things, my wish for the class of 2017 would be for all of you to run outside in the next rainstorm. To abandon everything, maybe even your clothes, and run, just for a minute. Because to feel something like the rain pouring over your skin in a warm, thundering night is one of those moments of honestly loving yourself that I wish for you. A teacher, a friend, an online listicle, they've all said it to you. Be kind to yourself. But did you listen? Because I'm saying it now. Please, be kind to yourselves. Tonight, after the champagne buzz has worn off, Tuesday when you're in a new place, in the future at your next job interview, on the Sunday of your next reunion, after your next bad day. Be kind to yourself. And after a while, we can all hope it will become a second nature, and we can keep being kind to others the way we now know how. Trying to keep all these memories, the good, the downright strange, and the less than beautiful, floating at the surface of our minds as we graduate, is a tolling act of brain acrobatics, and it feels hard to let the future thoughts sneak in. But Beloit has not been built on savoring the past without tasting the future. When it comes down to it, we are all Beloit's newest ideas. We're leaving this place with more fresh newness than I think we can fully comprehend. New perspectives on the economy, on the state of the world, on postmodernism, on why Apple should not have taken the headphone jack off the iPhone. Some people say there are no new ideas in the world. Everything's been used up and people are just repeating themselves now. But today, right now, we are all Beloit's freshest ideas. We've got lenses on lenses to look through, more backpacks than we know what to do with, turtles growing between our shower tiles like a friendly mold at this point, and 4 years with an incredible community, not behind us, but with us. If someone were to ask me now to name my 4 favorite moments from college, I'd say it's more of a question of what's my favorite feeling from college. A feeling something like standing in a kitchen, people leaning against the counters and in the doorframe, some talking, some quiet, while someone is cooking and someone is laughing and someone is telling a story. The kitchen is warm and the sun is setting over the river outside the window. What's your favorite college feeling, I ask you? Where can you find it again? And even when you do, just know that we're all still here. Those people you laughed with, the ones you cried with, the ones who held you, and the ones who let you go. When I was a tour guide for admissions, I used to always end my tours with why I came to Beloit. I always said something about the English department or studying abroad or something that I didn't actually know about the school until after I came here. Sorry, Pat Walsh. Because the truth sounded too weird. Who would believe me if I said I got sick on my visit and somehow it felt okay to be sick here? That Beloit made me feverish and nauseous. And that's what made me sad on the school. But looking back, I think it felt okay for me to be vulnerable here. I think it still does. If I gave a tour now, I would say I came to Beloit because of the community. That and the way sometimes, when the wind is blowing just right, the campus smells like cookies. There's nothing groundbreaking about the idea of being vulnerable. We've all heard how important it is. But I challenge you, by being vulnerable in a different way for you, whether that's to someone new, at a job, in a relationship, or directly to yourself, I challenge you to create your own fresh start, yourself as your own new idea. It has almost overtaken me how long this year has been, how hard. But today, I feel almost vibrational with everything we have done, looking forward and hoping and wondering. As the poet Anis Mashgani says, "Shake the dust, and take me with you when you do, because none of this has ever been for me. All that pushes and pulls and pushes and pulls, it pushes for you. So grab this world by its clothespins and shake it again and jump on top and take it for a spin, and when you hop off, shake it again." For me, this means shake off this dust of stress and apprehension and some straight up fear and feel your own freshness today. The first day of the rest and the next day of the best and all the other days that are part of this beautiful mess. It feels like I should end with turtles all the way down, but I think I'll leave that to President Bierman. After the ceremony, I hope you find someone and say thank you. For whatever part, however minuscule, they've contributed to your 4 years here. Because today, I don't believe in goodbyes. I only believe in thank yous. Thank you to my incredible family. Happy Mother's Day, Mom. I love you so much. Thank you for all you've done for me and for getting those extra polka dot straws for our picnic. Thank you to my dear friends, to every professor who has let me cry in their office or offered a word of advice, to every staff member who has kept this campus running, to every graduating senior who is sitting there wondering, where's this girl been for the past 4 years, because I swear I've never seen her before in my life. Even you, thank you for this incredible ride that we are still just getting started on. Thank you.
I am now pleased to introduce Andy Barishka, class of '98, a member of the Beloit College Alumni Association Board of Directors.
You don't get a lot of chances once you get out of school, so you got to have people clap for you when you can. Well, good afternoon. Again, as Scott said, I'm Andy Barishka, class of 1998, and I'm a proud member of the Alumni Board of Directors for the Alumni Association here at Beloit College, and it's an honor to welcome you, 2017 folks, to the Alumni Association. You're our newest members. And sitting here, looking at all of you, it makes me think all the way back to the 90s. It's a long way back. And thinking some of the things that you might be thinking as you sit looking at this stage, just like I did when I was in your seat. Where am I going to live? Because as John will tell you, you will get kicked out of the dorms eventually. You can't lurk around indefinitely. What am I going to do for a job? Because I had a 2.6 GPA and a degree in psychology, so I wasn't going to go to grad school. Larry was my advisor, sorry. And I wasn't really sure what I was going to do. And how am I going to pay off those student loans? Because even in the 90s, we used to have those. It was a real thing. They've persisted. But luckily for me, and luckily hopefully for all of you, I learned quickly that I didn't have to do it alone. Coach Dave DeGeorge was my baseball coach, just like he's still here now. And the first place I went to interview for a job, the guy that hired me knew his brother. So the Beloit connection helped me get in the door there. Another alum helped me get my first contract job in events at Harley-Davidson Motor Company a couple years after that. Allie Horn in Milwaukee, I owe her my career start there. And I was able to get my first job in the nonprofit sector by sleeping on the floor of two alums' one-year-old's bedroom. So I had to pay rent in Chicago so I could take a job that helped put my career on track. So almost 20 years after I was in this very seat that you were sitting in, thinking about some of these very challenging questions that might be on your mind on this beautiful day, my point to you is this. The Beloit family is here for you, and you've seen this through the faculty we've acknowledged today and the support you have here today. There's a bond that ties us all together here, and it's made out of turtle mounds and commons food and all the weird stuff that makes us all Beloiters. And I think from the 80s, the 90s, and beyond, there's more we have in common than things that are different. So as you make this leap into adulting, which my 25-year-old staff have assured me is a thing, just know that you've got a lot of hands out there that can help you. I've had the opportunity now to put up young alumni in my spare room so they could get a shot at their first move and their job. And I actually hired Caitlin Patterson, whose letter we talked about before. She works for me now. As an alum, it was nice to pass the turtle on, and that worked out real good. And she is exceptional, as her letter indicates. So again, as you make this big leap into adulting, remember, stay connected with the alumni office. Stay connected with LAPSI. Read the magazine. Magazines are still a thing. Read the magazine. It's good. Go to events in your area. But it's never been easier to get connected with alumni that are there. We're all here for you. So ask for that help. You're now a part of a large, multinational, tens of thousands of us are out there with our hands ready to help you. Just go out and ask for it, okay? Welcome to Alumni Association, and congratulations, class of 2017.
I invite the members of Bits and Pieces to come back up one more time. While they make their way onto the stage, I think we should acknowledge, after one night's reflection, that yesterday's baccalaureate may have been one of the finest in the 167-year history of commencement weekends. Thanks to all of you that participated in the baccalaureate. I also want to thank Laura Pratt, whose wonderful cover art for yesterday's baccalaureate and today's commencement programs are really a tremendous reflection of her talent and of this great event today. Thank you, Laura. Okay, you get to stand. Everybody, please stand. And join Bits and Pieces in singing Domine Salvum Fac. The words and music are printed on pages 46 and 47 of your program. Over to you, Bits and Pieces.
Domine salvam fac patriam nostram Americam et exaudi nos in die qua invoca verimus te. Domine salvam fac alma mater nostram Beloit et exaudi nos in die qua invoca verimus te.
Thank you very much. Well done, guys. That was fantastic. I now call on Stouffer J. Bartol, Chair-elect of the Board of Trustees, to bring greetings to the graduating seniors on behalf of the trustees and to present the board's statement of authorization for the granting of Bachelor of Arts and Bachelor of Science degrees at today's exercises. Stouffer.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon. On behalf of Beloit's Board of Trustees, on this absolutely spectacular day in Beloit, Wisconsin, I'm pleased to extend our best wishes and congratulations to all members of the class of 2017 and to their families and friends. It is my pleasure to inform you that the Board of Trustees has authorized the awarding of appropriate degrees at this year's commencement exercises to all such candidates as have been certified by the registrar and approved by the faculty. In accordance with these actions, and on behalf of the Board of Trustees of Beloit College, I now call upon President Scott Bierman to confer these awards pursuant to the legal authority vested in the Board of Trustees under the charter granted by the legislature of the Territory of Wisconsin on February 2nd, 1846. They're all yours.
Dean Davies, will you now please present the candidates for degrees?
Mr. President, I first have the honor to present the candidates for the degree of Bachelor of Arts. Will these candidates please rise and commence coming forward? A candidate who attains the highest scholastic standing during 4 years of work at Beloit College is selected to represent the group and to receive a hood in recognition of this achievement. By action of the appropriate authorities and with the approval of the faculty and the Board of Trustees, the candidate so chosen to represent the candidates for the degree of Bachelor of Arts at this 167th commencement exercise is Jamison Q. Rush from Snohomish, Washington, whose degree is awarded summa cum laude with departmental honors in anthropology. Will the candidate please come forward? Congratulations, you can go that direction.
Jameson, you're going to want to make your way over here. In accordance with the recommendation of the Dean of the College, on behalf of the faculty and the Board of Trustees of Beloit College, and by the authority vested in me, I confer upon you the degree of Bachelor of Arts. The token of the hood now placed upon you confers upon all the candidates whom you represent the degree of Bachelor of Arts, together with all the rights and privileges thereunto pertaining. Congratulations, Jamerson.
Samantha June Abrams, magna cum laude. Abimbola Victoria Akintayo. Winona Jane Albano Bactel. Brian Leonard Alcorn. Jennifer Marie Almaris, summa cum laude, Departmental Honors, Health and Society. Eliza Joy Alvarez. Apollos Andre Anderson, Jr. Mary Ashley Antar. Hannah Sakura Arata, cum laude. Rachel Alice Bach, cum laude. Lindsay Ann Bonkele, magna cum laude. Luke William Bankard. John Timothy Bacon Bannon. William Joseph Banville, Jr. Chen Bao, summa cum laude, Departmental Honors, Education and Youth Studies. Mary Catherine Beckman. Beland Billy Bertrand. Caitlin Grace Bethencourt. Christopher W. Berger. Marie Bonin, summa cum laude. Austin Dale Brockman. Brandon McKinley Brown. Sarah Catherine Brown. William Champ Brown, cum laude. Diego Armando Bueno. Tori Ann Burns, cum laude. Mariah May Cadwalder. Jesse Andrew Campa, cum laude. Carrie Grace Campbell. Carrie Christopher Carpenter. Luca Marcus Castrucci. Celine Castrucci, cum laude, Departmental Honors, Health and Society, Departmental Honors, Geology. Kevin Cesario. CJ Clark. Isabel Honora Collier. Daniel James Connolly. Eben Gray Crawford, magna cum laude, Departmental Honors Anthropology. Eleanor Jean Davies, summa cum laude, Departmental Honors Creative Writing. Colin Elder Davis, magna cum laude. Lola Beth Davis, summa cum laude. Nikolai de St. Andrew. Maxwell F. DeMay, magna cum laude. Hannah Maureen Devereaux, summa cum laude, Departmental Honors International Relations. Seamus Carol Delaney. Amelia Stott Steele, summa cum laude. Brandon Jope. Amalia Rachel Dolan, summa cum laude, Departmental Honors Health and Society. Hannah Elizabeth Drexler. Stephen Jesus Esparza. Angelica Estevez. Sasha Molly Na Feinberg, cum laude. Eva Louisa Kasperick Fellows, cum laude. Shuro Feng, cum laude. Caitlin Joy Fisher, magna cum laude, Departmental Honors Creative Writing. Brendan Scott Fitzgerald. Julia Grace Formanek. Patrick Chase Frazier, summa cum laude, Departmental Honors International Relations. Nicole Donnell Fredericks, summa cum laude, Departmental Honors Media Studies. Emma Rachel Frothingham, summa cum laude, Departmental Honors History. C.N. Fu, summa cum laude. Charlotte Talcott Giese, cum laude. Oceane Rokisha Van Treese Gilliam, cum laude. Renata Michelle Getz, magna cum laude, Departmental Honors Cognitive Science. Jacob Gerald Grams. Julia Rose Graston, cum laude, Departmental Honors Education and Youth Studies. Natalie Rose Green. Juan Guerrero IV. Sarah Nicole Gutman. Nakorkoi Rebecca Hamlund, magna cum laude. Taryn Rebecca Hansen, summa cum laude, Departmental Honors, Creative Writing. Madeline Ida Harkey, magna cum laude. Isaac Arion Harvey Wolf, magna cum laude. Sarah Marie Herendine, summa cum laude. Elizabeth Rose Hitchcock, summa cum laude, Departmental Honors Creative Writing, Departmental Honors Anthropology. Deontay Rashawn Horton. Kelsey Hannah Horvath, magna cum laude. Andrea Rerhorchuk Karacha, summa cum laude, Departmental Honors Psychology. Kuntatar, cum laude. Jackson Isaac Hunt, cum laude. Caroline Elizabeth Hyde. Madeline Jean Ingalls, cum laude. Madeline Jane Ibsen, cum laude. Zachary Alexander Jenkins. Dulce Lucero Jimenez Flores. Madeline Jane Johnson, cum laude, Departmental Honors, Creative Writing. Sarah Elizabeth Jones. Kendra Seneca Keys. Scott Kylie Kimball. Samantha Fennessy Kindler, summa cum laude. Hillary Abilene Kahn, cum laude. Melissa Kornachuk, summa cum laude, Departmental Honors Psychology. Megan Dado Kota, magna cum laude. Emma Catherine Kravig. Erin Christina Kripke, cum laude. Catherine Marie Kroll. Alexandra Regina Kerpeel. Taylor Ann Lewis, cum laude. Yang Li. Sawyer Augustus Linland. Christopher Matthew Madej Lindquist. Eduardo Victor Londrigan. John Paul Mendoza Marquez. Claire Therese Marin. Sophie Martin. Anissa Ray Martinez, cum laude. William Wayne Mauk, summa cum laude, Departmental Honors, Creative Writing. Daniel Niles May, cum laude. Kyle William May, cum laude. Madeline Grace McHale, summa cum laude. Annalise Joy McKechnie, magna cum laude. Monica E. McKee, summa cum laude, Departmental Honors, Political Science. Ruth May McLeod, cum laude. Mika Louise Ruth Miller, summa cum laude. Saki Miura, cum laude. Emma Elizabeth Mooney, magna cum laude. Hannah Max Nadeau. Emily Marguerite Newman, summa cum laude, Departmental Honors, Creative Writing. Aki Nikora, magna cum laude. Rain Alexandra Nolan. Michael David Nolden. Nyasha Valerie Yamandoro. Madison Jane Oakley, summa cum laude, Departmental Honors, Political Science. Noah Aristotle Oberlander. Gabriella Marguerite Ejide Onikoro Arkel, magna cum laude. David Edgard Ortiz, cum laude. Thompson Campbell Otis. Austin David Podgen, magna cum laude. Laura Michelle Panicali, magna cum laude. Nayun Park, magna cum laude. Nicolo Parlich. Joseph Sang Peacock, summa cum laude. Stafford Daniel Perry. Evan Michael Phillips. Jordan Lynn Plouts, Departmental Honors, Creative Writing. Nora Rose Pulaski, summa cum laude, Departmental Honors, Sociology. Samantha Alexandra Poyer, summa cum laude, Departmental Honors, Anthropology. Laura Norton Pratt, summa cum laude, Departmental Honors, Creative Writing. Devin Natara Phillips Pruitt, summa cum laude, Departmental Honors, Creative Writing. Lei Yi Chen, summa cum laude, Departmental Honors, Psychology. Rose Lee Richard. Kylie Ann Rivera. Jessie Aisha Simone Rosechild. Alexis Rose Saber, magna cum laude, Departmental Honors, Health and Society. Sabrina Diane Sanchez, summa cum laude, Departmental Honors, Health and Society. Marin Beach Shermer, summa cum laude. Emma Shinhua Doherty Schroer. Tessa Brooks Sebastian. Zan Shur, magna cum laude. Meredith Marilyn Shimmick, cum laude. Jonah Adler Schlaze, summa cum laude. Alexander James Simplot. Maya Rachel Sinaiko, summa cum laude, Departmental Honors, Creative Writing. Brett Goodman Singer, cum laude. Daryl Cedric Lamont Smith, Jr. Malcolm Oliver Smith, cum laude. Jack Nicholas Summer. Yan Song, magna cum laude. Emily Kathleen Splan, cum laude. Andrew Charles Stein. Madeline Anga Stein. Jeffrey Charles Stevens. Corey Ann Lujan Sugitan. Jeremy Stanford Sullivan, magna cum laude. Yeah, take your time. Cole Henry Schwartz. Hannah Grace Taft, magna cum laude. Chisaki Takami. Matthew Thomas Tarpinian. Everett Richard Spiker Teeter. William Lewis Tomer, cum laude. Alberto Angel Torres. Macy Yim Tran, summa cum laude, Departmental Honors, Health and Society. Paul McDonald Toomey. Cassia Voicest. Eleanor Jane Waddle, magna cum laude. Dwight Lamar Walker. Matea Sierra Wallace, cum laude. Robert Francis Walsh. Cho Yu Wang, cum laude. Paige Taylor Waterstreet, cum laude. Julia Shayna Weinberg Connors, magna cum laude, Departmental Honors, Critical Identity Studies. It says Julie in here. Sorry. It's Julie, even though. Kindle Bond White, summa cum laude, Departmental Honors, Education and Youth Studies. Samuel Robert Whitaker, magna cum laude, Departmental Honors, History. Bonnie Jean Willison, summa cum laude. Ferris Elaine Winchester, magna cum laude. Shane Thomas Wood. Xiao Tong Jasmine Wu, magna cum laude. Hian Yong Yo, summa cum laude. Yi Zhou, magna cum laude. Lydia Lee Zimmerman, summa cum laude, Departmental Honors, International Relations. Mark Andrew DeLucas, cum laude, Departmental Honors, History. And those are our BAs. Mr. President, I next have the honor to present the candidates for the degree of Bachelor of Science. A candidate who attains the highest scholastic standing during 4 years of work at Beloit College is selected to represent the group and to receive a hood in recognition of this achievement. By action of the appropriate authorities and with the approval of the faculty and the Board of Trustees, the candidate so chosen to represent the candidates for the degree of Bachelor of Science at this 167th commencement exercise is Marcy Barker McLennan from Austin, Texas, whose degree is awarded summa cum laude with Departmental Honors in Biology. Could our Bachelor of Science folks start lining up, please?
In accordance with the recommendation of the Dean of the College on behalf of the faculty and the Board of Trustees of Beloit College and by the authority vested in me, I confer upon you, Marcy, the degree of Bachelor of Science. The token of the hood now placed upon you confers upon all the candidates whom you represent the degree of Bachelor of Science, together with all the rights and privileges thereunto pertaining. Congratulations, Marcy.
Grace, keep walking. Grace Adams Adams. Mark William Anderson. April Ann Apfelbaum, summa cum laude, Departmental Honors, Biology. Charles Henry Aubert. Marina Elizabeth Bagnoli, cum laude. Madeline Rose Barron, summa cum laude, Departmental Honors, Biology. Mary Elizabeth Breen Lyles, summa cum laude, Departmental Honors, Physics. Andrew Morton Bremner, summa cum laude. Reichley Allen Buckingham, cum laude. Zachary James Carner. Mary Kathleen Cawley. Jen Zhu Xiang, summa cum laude, Departmental Honors Biology. Meredith Deborah Cohen, cum laude. Zachary T. Cole, cum laude. William Colby Clark Dace. Mason Thomas Dixon. Julia Glenn Ehrenberg. Carl Lars Peterson Engen, cum laude. Daniel Joseph Freitag. Nathaniel Dane Freuchen. Jordan Joseph Garcia, cum laude, Departmental Honors Biology. Martin Roberto Garcia, magna cum laude. Tao Wan Giorno, summa cum laude, Departmental Honors Biology. Haley Marie Glenn, cum laude. Glendia Lanice Gomez, cum laude. Bren Lee Gregory, cum laude. Louis John Grimmelbein V, magna cum laude, Departmental Honors Geology. Caitlin Marie Gretkin. Michael Kai Galvey, cum laude. Claire Susan Harper, summa cum laude, Departmental Honors Biochemistry. Madeline Louisa Hart, magna cum laude, Departmental Honors Biochemistry. Joseph Emmett Hunhoff, magna cum laude. Alicia Janelle Hunter. Celeste DeVue Jenkins. Katie Elizabeth Carl, magna cum laude, Departmental Honors Biology. Matthew Connor Kelly. David Paul Lafayette II, summa cum laude, Departmental Honors Chemistry. Mackenzie J. Larson. Josephine Claire Lindsay Robbins, summa cum laude, Departmental Honors Biology. Maureen Kelly Lyons, magna cum laude. Jacob Michael Monty. Kathleen Ann McKenna, cum laude. Larkin Pearl Myers, summa cum laude, Departmental Honors Biochemistry. Skylar Henry Miller, magna cum laude, Departmental Honors Geology. Cheyenne Nicole Moffitt, summa cum laude, Departmental Honors Biology. Jill and Dotsy. Weltha Marie Ondike, Departmental Honors, Creative Writing. Octav Pakarar. Zachary William Paquin, magna cum laude. Riley James Pearson. Julia Lynn Pfeiffer, cum laude. Daniel Kihas IV. Diego Reyes. Grace Marin Reynolds, summa cum laude. Audrey Marie Louise Roche, cum laude. Cameron Hunter Sully. Jennifer Santos Arivalo. Benjamin Max Jonathan Scheel. Matil Nilis Shaw, cum laude. Miranda Lynn Symes, summa cum laude, Departmental Honors, Biochemistry. Emily Lauren Sneed, magna cum laude. Emily Astrid Thurn, summa cum laude, Departmental Honors, Biology. Alexander Karl Vensky. Tong Wu. Danny D. Ju. Andrew Zelanka.
Friends and families, it is my great honor to present to you the class of 2017. None of this would have happened were it not for the unparalleled procreative powers of your parents. The fine quality of their good efforts are in evidence right in front of me. As much as this day is about you, class of 2017, you could not have gotten to this point were it not for your parents. Please join me in thanking our newly minted parents of a Beloit College graduate. But you are also here as beneficiaries of generations of past students, parents, and friends of the college, the resources the college employs to help make this education possible are a direct result of thousands of generous supporters who believe that access to a school like this matters. Without it, without them, there would not be a graduating class of 2017 that looks or feels anything like you, and that would be a crime. Please join me in thanking the many people who have supported your access to this college so generously. Now, take a look at the faculty and staff that are here today behind you. If you asked any one of them what it is that keeps them working at Beloit College, they would answer without any hesitation that it is you. Your success is their success. Please join me now in thanking the staff and faculty of Beloit College. In the last edition of the Roundtable, Will Tomer, recent graduate of Beloit, wrote a letter to the college. Will starts the letter by offering a list of experiences universal to all of you. Will writes, "We've completed our FYIs, excelled in our majors, and impressed with our extracurriculars. We've grown bitter and hateful toward commons. We've been startled by a squirrel jumping out of a trash can. We've done bell runs. We've taken in the glories of first snow and endured through the February slush. We've taken in the kaleidoscopic sunsets of the Midwest. We've woken up late and gone to class in our pajamas. We've hated it here and we've loved it here." Then Will moves on, trying to find a common thread to next steps towards living a life you choose to live. In this year's class alone, Will writes, there are computer scientists headed to San Diego to work for financial companies, Fulbright scholars heading to Asia to help teach English, journalists pursuing the truth, biologists striving to solve medical mysteries, authors pursuing publications with vigor and enthusiasm, historians eager to document the vast slew of new information passing us by. Everyone at Beloit studied to play their part in the world, and that is an amazing thing when you think about it. It wouldn't have been possible without this college. There's a lot about Beloit to be critical of, but really try to think of another institution that allows you to try on so many hats, lets you be whoever you want to be, and does so without judgment. I certainly can't think of another, at least on this scale. And Will, I love this next part. Beloit is like a constant experiment, eager to bring aboard a new batch of strange, curious people who want nothing more than to be themselves. You can be just another person in the pack at Beloit, but if you choose to do that, you have wasted a beautiful opportunity. Fortunately, I can't think of many who did. Most of us achieved our highest highs here at Beloit as well as our lowest lows. Many of us screwed up on a colossal scale, took note, and improved ourselves. Beloit is a place that accepts a certain level of failure, viewing it as a necessary hurdle to proper self-development. A place like that is enormously rare, and far too many people overlook just how amazing it is. The tools, amenities, and access are in place for nearly anyone who chooses to take advantage of them. And if your tool isn't there, Beloit will do its damnedest to find it for you. And what about you? Will, what has Beloit meant to you? Will writes, I made some of my best friends here, people I will stay in contact with for the rest of my life. I discovered what my career will be. I learned how to be social here. I messed up here and got to better myself as a result. I got to learn from people like Sean Gillen, Chuck Lewis, Daniel Bruckenhaus, Susan Kasten, Rob LaFleur, and Beth Doherty. Seriously, all those people teach here. That's beyond amazing. Beloit brags about its teaching and all its promotional stuff, but it really is no lie. I ate a lot of Taco Bell here. I learned to write here. I met Emma Sheehan here. I matured here, and perhaps more than anything, I learned how to think here. And for this, I am enormously grateful and will always be. So thank you, Beloit. It has meant more than I can possibly say. Goodbye for now. Love always. Will Tomer. Thank you, Will, as much as I have spent on sedatives to get me through the weekly publications of the Roundtable. You need to know how much you have made a difference. You have changed us. You have made Beloit College your own, and because of that, you have made Beloit College better. And as I look out at so many friends right in front of me who have also made a difference and who have changed this college, changed the people to your left and right, changed the people to your front and back, changed me. Students like Oceane Gilliam and Joe Peacock and Lydia Zimmerman and Andrew Bremner and Alex Chung and Sarah Brown and Celine Castrucci and Chen Bao, and the list goes on and winds throughout the 260 of you. You, Emmy and Catherine and Smitty and Isaac and Luca and Elizabeth and April and Belle. Don't forget Belle. Your presence at Beloit College has made a difference. A Beloit College degree has greater meaning for your 260 classmates, greater meaning for your faculty and staff, greater meaning for the 16,000 other alumni, because you are among those who hold a Beloit College diploma. You are a Beloiter, and because of that, it is a great day for all Beloiters. Aaron Chapin, the college's first president, said of the early alumni of the college something that I and future presidents will be able to say about you. Alma Mater looks fondly on your faces. Her heart swells with worthy pride as she reviews the lives you have been living since you went out from her charge, and she borrows the honors you have won and wears them as jewels for her adornment today. Your presence fills her heart with gladness and her face with smiles. The values of this college are embodied so gorgeously embodied in my friends in front of me, the class of 2017. Beloitish, Beloited, Beloiters. It is, as it always will be at Beloit College, turtles all the way down. I invite this class to stand and participate in one last Beloit tradition. The faculty and staff will follow the platform party out. In the recessional, they will then create one last gauntlet through which you must pass. After that, please join us for lunch on the lawn behind Eaton Chapel. Thank you for celebrating this great day with all of us at Beloit College.